Hello and welcome to Barry Nerd Corner. My name is Brandon and this is my attempt to beat Pokemon Y using only Diantha's Pokemon. Here is Diantha's team. She's never shown using or acquiring any other Pokemon in any other medium, so these are all I have to work with. It's only 6 encounters, but they're all quite strong Pokemon. As a result, this will be a Nuzlocke. The Nuzlocke rules are on the screen right now. Well, really it's just the one rule. Fainted Pokemon must be boxed permanently. I will be obeying that rule with one minor exception that I'll cover when it comes up. I'll also be following what I call hardcore rules. That means no overleveling past the next gym leader's ace, the battle mode stays on set, and I cannot use any items in battle. I won't allow Mega Evolution since you can't naturally get Gardevoir's Mega Stone until the post-game. Oh, and I'm making one exception to the level cap. If I cannot defeat a gym in 3 attempts, I'll allow myself one more level before attempting it again. This should balance making this challenge both difficult and possible, as you'll see at the first gym. But that's enough dawdling, let's get started. Our journey begins with a rude awakening. We get dressed and head downstairs where Mom sends us to meet our new neighbors. Cut to Aquacord Town, where we meet the most forgettable rivals. You may not see them again in this video. They try to give us a terrible nickname, but we tell them to call us Queen. Now we get to choose our starter. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Fennekin with Ralts, as decided by this poll on my channel. I name her Suki, receive the Pokedex, and begin our journey. And by journey, I mean our first trainer battle. Shauna has a Chespin, but we have a Ralts, who only knows Growl. Bet you didn't expect this, so I growl. A lot. Until Chespin knocks us out. But because there is no Diantha whited out text, I'm not calling this a failed attempt. I'm not even calling it a death. So here's what we're gonna do. I've spent some time catching Pokemon on Route 2. This nets small amounts of experience, so Suki will be able to level up soon. I obviously can't use these Pokemon in battle, but this is the only way to make this challenge possible under the current limitations. Trust me, this challenge will make up for it soon. Now that we have confusion, we have our real first trainer battle. This youngster's Zigzagoon doesn't even put up a fight as Suki destroys its brain. Off to a good start. Skipping to Santaloon City, we beat a skater outside the gym and receive a pair of rollerblades. I think their addition is pretty cool, but I wish they weren't on the circle pad. I default to that pad to move on the 3DS, and I don't like always skating around in this game. Time for the gym. Viola's first Pokemon is Surskit. I start with Double Team with the hope of evading some attacks. Between evasion, bad AI, and confusion damage, Suki defeats the Water Strider with half her HP remaining. Second is her ace, Vivillon. Or Vivian? I'm just gonna say Vivillon. Tackle does massive damage to Suki, who retaliates with a very soft confusion. Then, Infestation finishes Suki off on the next turn. This isn't good. And attempt 2 is even worse. It starts the same, but Surskit never gets confused. Suki manages to bring it down to a third before its bullseye attacks take her down. Anybody care to guess how attempt number 3 goes? I'll save you the trouble. Exactly as poorly as attempt number 2. Suki just doesn't have any defense. This isn't going anywhere, so let's try something new. I level Suki up once and try again. In our 4th attempt at level 13, we do a tiny bit more damage. This allows us to bait out Viola's potion on Surskit, which is great. But Suki only has a third of her health remaining when Vivillon comes in. Infestation takes us down to only 2 HP after residual damage, meaning this attempt is over. We would need triple or quadruple damage on our next confusion and a miss from Vivillon to win next turn. We don't even get the latter, falling to a basic tackle attack. Try number 5. Just like the previous attempt, we burn Vivillon's potion and take down Surskit, this time with just over half her health remaining. There is hope! Until Vivillon hits Infestation, which will kill us in just a few turns. A crit then barely does 25% to this stupid butterfly. We put up as much of a fight as we can before falling once again to tackle. Let's just cut to when I managed to win. During this attempt, I want to address some complaints that I'm sure some of you will have about this challenge. You went over the level cap, you should reset for better nature or grind EVs. Well, to those things I say this. none of that really matters. At level 12, the difference between different natures or AV spreads is the same as the difference in a level or two. Besides, the level cap ending at the start of the battle makes it functionally not a cap. There is no noteworthy difference between reaching level 13 mid-battle and coming into battle at level 13. And for those who complain that I don't fully reset after a wipe, that's nowhere in the rules. No other PokeTuber lists it when they explain the rules in their intros. Sure, they mention it later if it happens, but it's never in the beginning rules when they explain the run. It doesn't make the challenge any harder, it just makes it take longer. I would rather enjoy the run and get my videos done faster than waste my time starting a new run that is 99.9% the same as the current one. So if you're gonna comment and complain about that stuff, just don't. I don't care, and I don't have any patience for it. If you don't like the rules I play by, I'm sorry, but go watch somebody else. In fact, here's an idea. Instead of complaining that I broke the rules, you could comment something like, "Against Viola, I would have done this." I'd be down to hear your strategies, though there isn't really anything different that I could have done for this particular challenge. Now that rant's done, this was attempt number 8. Ignore the on-screen counter, I had left it alone because I didn't expect to win. It's fixed in the next clip. We finally won and claimed the insect badge, and now we can escape this bug-infested purgatory. Leaving Santaloon City, we meet Viola's sister Alexa, who gives us the experience share. Thanks! It's useless now, but surely it'll come in handy later. Time to speedrun this game. We enter Lumiose City, barely defeat Professor Sycamore in battle, choose the randomized Nidoran male to join the unused team. His nickname will be the King. Long live the King! Meet Lysander, who calls us a chosen one and is rambling about making the world a better place. Change our hairstyle and color, and meet the other Diantha, who is famous for being a video. Is all the script says. We meet the other Diantha, who is famous for being a video star, a movie star. I, meanwhile, will be famous for becoming the champion queen of Kalos. Then Suki evolves into Kirlia. This is a much needed power boost, but I can't wait to expand the team. We're so close. Before that, we visit this colossal mansion. I think it's called the Parfum Palace or something like that. Anyway, the butler at the gate charges $10 to enter, but we just spent all of our money on super potions, so he lets us in anyway. We skip that because we have to fight a Snorlax to open the route to the next town. And by fight, I mean wake up, challenge, and then teleport away from. The teddy bear returns to the mountains, and we move on. In Ambrit Town, we get some team upgrades. Reviving the fossils, we get Katara the Amara and Sokka the Tyrant. I finally have more than one team member, and I finally update the level cap. Speaking of, while grinding to said level cap, we find a shiny Saphiper. But Diantha never used one, so we have to kill it. Bye bye, shiny guy. Challenging Grant, I send out Katara for an Amara mirror match. Amara paralyzes us with Thunder Wave, and Katara hits hard with Rock Smash. The next turn, Katara takes a soft Aurora Beam before knocking out the imposter with another hit. Second is Tyrant. I try to hit with an Aurora Beam of my own, but Bite deals pretty heavy damage and flinches us. This is getting risky, so we switch to Sokka for another mirror match. Sokka uses Charm to weaken Tyrant while taking quite a bit of damage from Rock Tomb and Bite. She then hits with Bulldoze and knocks out Tyrant with a critical hit. These fossil Pokemon are great. And honestly, I almost quit playing Pokemon right before X and Y came out, and these two are what drew me back into the series because I love dinosaurs. With that done, we move on to Route 10, where we get our coolest encounter, Hawlucha. We catch him and name him Toph. Now the team has grown to 4. Toph gets to test his mettle immediately. We run into Korrina, the next gym leader, in Geosenge Town. She challenges us with 2 Lucario. After a single Swords Dance, a few hits of Karate Chop take down both dogs. This obviously nets us our 3rd gym badge, right? No? Fine. It does, however, earn us an evolution for Suki, turning her into Gardevoir. We then enter the Reflection Cave. I have to be very, very careful in here to avoid as many encounters as possible. There are wild Wobbuffet waiting to ruin your hopes and dreams, and several of the trainers are surprisingly tough for an unprepared team. So say your prayers to Arcus that we can get through this dungeon safely. In Shallower City, we visit the Tower of Mastery to learn about Mega Evolution. The loser squad then shows up. I would skip this, but there is a rival battle here. I don't think you'd be very happy if I skipped that, so Clemont challenges us for the right to receive the Mega Bracelet. First is Miastic vs Sokka. Protect stops Fake Out, then Bite takes down the cat in one, bite. Absol is second, but Dragontail switches them out for Frogadier. After switching to Suki, 2 magical leaves take it down as well. I then switch to Toph and Karate Chop the Absol to win the battle. Now for our second battle with Korrina. After clearing out the trainers, we challenge her, but we have a Halucha. After 2 swords dances, Aerolace knocks out each of her Pokemon in a single hit. Nice try, Korrina. Alright, back to the Tower of Mastery. We have to fight Korrina again, this time to earn the Mega Bracelet. I don't think you need to see me clobber her again, right? When we do, she lets us keep the bracelet and the Lucario. I mean, sure. I name him Subscribe and put him in the box. We then fast track to Coumarine City, where Clemont calls us to battle again. But there's a weird graphical glitch on his face. I'm gonna say they're bandages from getting absolutely clobbered in our last battle. That's canon now. You know what else is canon? How easy the battle with Ramos is. Katara takes down both Jumpluff and Weepinbell with Avalanche. Go-Go then comes out as his ace. Grassknot drops Katara to 3 HP before Whirlbeam deals moderate damage. But this is nothing that Toph can't handle. One switch and acrobatics later, and the 4th gym is done. Next, we cross Route 13 to reach Lumiose City. Nothing of importance really happens on this route, aside from meeting a tall guy talking about resurrecting Pokemon. Weird how his abnormal size is never really addressed. Anyway, the gym gauntlet must continue. Our battle with Clemont begins with Sokka versus Emolga. Predicting a Volt Switch, I go for Bulldoze, hitting the incoming Magneton for insane damage. Now, Clemont uses the Hyper Potion, allowing me to knock Magneton down to Sturdy again, and lower its speed even further. I switch to Crunch as Clemont heals again. Then a follow-up Bulldoze knocks down the magnets. Heliolisk comes out next. He deals heavy damage with Thunderbolt before Sokka is able to hit with Bulldoze, dropping the lizard to red health. I then switch to Suki, who falls to half health from a crit on entry. Luckily, Suki is faster and knocks out Heliolisk with Confusion. Emolga comes back out and Suki hits him with Confusion as well. This crits and confuses the Flying Squirrel. And to add insult to injury, Emolga hits himself in Confusion, knocking himself out and winning the battle for us. After that crazy victory, Sycamore wants to meet at Lysander's Cafe. They banter about Mega Evolution, and Lysander does a terrible job of hiding his horribleness. I mean, only villains refer to people as filth. Only villains. With that done, we head to Route 14 and overhaul the team. Katara evolves into Aurorus, Sokka evolves into Tyrantrum, and we catch a Gumi and name her Aang. We then arrive in Lavere Town, where we update our drip. I love this look. Time to challenge Valerie, but she's always a cakewalk. Her Mawile is just fodder for setting up. After 3 swords dances, Toph takes out Mawile and Mr. Mime with crits, and then Sylveon with a single hit. Nice try. Next, we take a field trip to the Pokeball Factory. We get a souvenir Master Ball and Big Nugget. Time to move on to the next gym. Along the way, we catch a Pumpkaboo named Zuko. Now, the team is full. Then, Zuko evolves into Gourgeist, and Aang evolves into Sliggoo. Moving on, we explore the Frost Cavern. Because every RPG needs an ice dungeon, am I right? Deep within the cave, we find a Christmas tree and receive a free ornament. That reminds me that my wife wants to buy a full-size Christmas tree. Better get on that. We arrive in Anastar City and have an important errand, updating our drip. Yet another outfit that I love. The player customization in this game is incredible. Clearing the gym, we challenge Olympia, who is also a total sweep. Strong Jaws boosted Crunch takes out her Pokemon in 1 hit each. The only damage she deals is from Fake Out. GG, Olympia. Get good. And now, we need to talk about Team Flare. This team has been recruiting people who can pay their exorbitant application fee, which basically makes them an MLM. Lysander's in charge, and their whole plan is to use the legendary Pokemon to power an ancient ultimate weapon and kill everyone in the Kalos region for not preserving the region's beauty. It's a lot of crazy, so obviously we have to stop it. But before that, we grind everyone to level 50, which allows Aang to evolve into Gudra by leveling up in the rain. Now, the team is at max power. We storm Lysander's cafe and enter... Why did I say it like that? We storm Lysander's cafe and enter his lab to challenge the man himself, for the first of 3 times. In this first match, Suki takes out Minfu, and Gyarados, and Murkrow in 1 hit each. Pyroar manages to survive and burn with a Fire Blast, but a second Psychic wins the match. Lysander then basically sends us on a scavenger hunt to find the elevator key, and then he remarks that trying to save everything is what has ruined the world? Okay, weirdo. We navigate the spinning tile puzzle and encounter an admin. After Suki bodies her Pokemon, she gives us the elevator key. You know, if this wasn't a children's game, I would swear that this was a trap. Everyone is just so eager for us to go deeper and confront Lysander again. Descending to basement level 2, we find Lysander speaking with an imprisoned Tallboy. Tallboy tells us a story about ancient Kalos. Something about a war that kills a Floette, an ultimate weapon that kills everyone and revives Floette, and then the fairy leaving Tallboy forever. Lysander isn't convinced, so he invites us to follow him deeper. On basement level 3, we find Lysander and Xerosic. Lysander apparently promises to stop his master plan if we can beat Xerosic and turn off the ultimate weapon. Suki takes care of the first part, then we pick the blue switch to turn off the weapon. We got it right, but surprise, surprise, Xerosic uses a remote to activate the ultimate weapon. A massive antenna-like structure erupts from the ground in Geosenge Town. This scene is simultaneously awesome and terrifying. This massive weapon has just been chilling under the ground for 3,000 years? And now the villains have it powered up and ready to go. Somebody has to stop them. And by somebody, I obviously mean me. Traveling to Geosenge Town, we enter Team Flare's hideout to confront Lysander again. He's found the legendary Pokemon and wants to use it to Thanos the human population. But in doing that, he's also going to destroy all Pokemon because humans will always use them as tools for greed? Why not just kill all humans then? That would accomplish literally everything you want to do. Whatever. Suki destroys all his Pokemon again. Once again, he encourages us to go deeper into his hideout to find the legendary Pokemon. Ugh, fine. Honestly, this is my least favorite villainous team climax. It just feels so rushed and out of nowhere. None of the team members have any personality. Why are there 20 admins who only have 1 or 2 Pokemon each? Why were all of their appearances up to this climax so meaningless? I hate Team Flare. Comment down below and tell me your favorite villainous team. And then there's this central room, where your rival and Shauna distract 2 of the admins, leaving you to deal with 4 of them alone. What was even the point of bringing them here if they weren't going to actually be helpful? We beat the admins and the Xenomorph egg hatches into Yveltal. We catch it in the Master Ball and send it to the PC where it can't destroy anything. Lysander then shows up for a final battle, but the only thing worth showing is his Mega. Gyarados Mega evolves into a Jumbo Shrimp and takes heavy damage from Moonblast. He then retaliates with an Iron Head, nearly knocking out Suki. But she takes it on the chin before finishing the fight with another blast. You lost. Get out of here, loser, and take your stupid Inspector Gadget cosplay with you. We can now return to Anastar City and resume our Pokemon journey. Sycamore calls and asks to meet him in Koraway Town. See you in a sec, boss. Oh hey, Sycamore. He's here to thank us for taking down Lysander and Team Flare. Yeah, I didn't have a choice, but you're welcome? He challenges us to battle again, but Suki Okos his fully evolved Kanto starters. He then says that he left a gift for us somewhere in town, rather than giving it to us himself. In that case, I don't care. I'm moving on. Speaking of things I don't care about, the Loser Squad challenges us on the following route, but they're barely worth mentioning. They only have 3 Pokemon each, and several of them don't even have full movesets. What were the devs thinking when they programmed this? Having more rivals does not make the game better. Give me 1 or 2 rivals with strong and interesting teams and compelling character development over this nonsense. So let's just skip to the next interesting scene, the battle against Wulfric for our final badge. The battle begins with a bomb of snow and Katara. Snow Warning sets up Hail, but that doesn't bother Katara. Rock Tomb does heavy damage to the tree, who retaliates with Energy Ball. Leftovers recovery brings us back above half before we kill Christmas with Ancient Power. Wulfric's second Pokemon is Cryogonal. I stay in, forgetting that the Snowflake learns Flash Cannon, which it uses to take Katara down to only 9 HP. Katara then retaliates with a critical hit Rock Tomb to take it down. This leaves Wulfric with just Avalugg. Ancient Power deals massive damage thanks to Avalugg's pitiful special defense. However, it then crunches Katara to kill him. Dang. I send out Zuko to prove that Halloween is the better holiday. He takes down the iceberg with a single Shadow Ball, earning our final badge. Oh, and feel free to comment down below and tell me your favorite holiday. Mine is honestly probably Halloween. Anyway, that battle was far from optimal. Maybe I should have gotten to the level cap, but Aurorus has a terrible type combination, being 4 times weak to both fighting and steel. My entire team has a massive weakness to ice, so I didn't have a whole lot of options. And to be honest, the twins were being fussy in the living room, so I wanted to wrap up recording and help my wife out. So this is how the battle went. Who doesn't like a little bit of drama? With 8 badges in our pocket, we can head to Victory Road. When we get there, Ace Trainer Robbie wants to test us to make sure we're ready. He leads with the Carbink, and I was leading with Aang. This is a bad idea, so I swap for Zuko while Carbink sets up Stealth Rock. Seed Bomb does almost half damage, so I hit the rock with Leech Seed for a bit of recovery. This also softens it enough for a second Seed Bomb to knock it out. Robbie sends out Kingdra, so I swap for Suki. Ice Beam does light damage before Moonblast destroys the Seahorse Pokemon. His last Pokemon is Raichu, but a couple of hits from Suki knock it out. Robbie is defeated, and now we can open the gate and enter the dungeon. Pokemon League, here we come. In Victory Road, we encounter Callum again, who wants to battle one more time before we become the champion. As always, he leads with Meowstic. I choose Sokka. Fake Out flinches us, but Sokka eats the little cat the following turn. Second is Greninja, so I go for Earthquake. Ice Beam does massive damage and freezes her. Darn it. I switch to Suki, who flinches from Dark Pulse. She avoids the flinch the next turn and takes down the Frog Ninja with Moonblast. Callum sends out Flareon, and I pivot to Aang. Flareon's bites do pretty light damage, and 2 Aqua Tails take out the evolution. Altaria is 4th, and I swap to Zuko. He hits her with Leech Seed before softening her with a Shadow Ball. Another Dragon Pulse drops him to 6 HP before recovery, but the Pumpkin King is able to defeat the Cloud Dragon with another Shadow Ball. Last is Callum's Absol, so naturally I send in Toph. A single Brick Break is enough to put the dog down, allowing us to move on to the Pokemon League. After Callum throws some shade on Nuzlockers everywhere by giving us some max revives. Here's the team as we head to the Elite Four, all edged up to the level cap. Let's see how it goes. First, we challenge Malva, the Fire-type Master. Master? Mistress? I don't know. But what I do know is that she's apparently from Team Flare. How cool would that have been? Meet her early on, have a battle or two with her, then she has a change of heart when Lysander reveals his true intentions, but no, she's just shoehorned it at the end. Oh, and as for the battle, Sokka knocks out all her Pokemon in a single hit. Nice try. Wickstrom is next. First is Klefki versus Sokka. Earthquake finishes this match quickly. Second is Probopass. If only I could have set up Stealth Rocks. Oh well. Sokka softens him with Rock Slide and endures a Flash Cannon. Then, Earthquake buries this metal Pokemon as well. Wickstrom chooses Aegislash next. I switch to Zuko to tank Ironhead. He then endures a strong Shadow Claw to set up Leech Seed. His job done, Zuko tags out for Aang. In Blade form, a single Flamethrower does enough damage to take him down. Last is Scizor, but we all know how this one goes. Moving on, we challenge Drasna and her Dragon types. Her first is Dragalge, and I send in Suki. We set up with Calm Mind twice, getting poisoned in the process. Now, we only have a few turns to win this. Luckily, that's exactly what we do. Psyshock takes down Dragalge, and Moonblast destroys Altaria, Noivern, and Druddigon. That was close, but it wasn't really a challenge. Last is Seabold's water Pokemon. And you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. After a Calm Mind, a combination of Thunderbolt and Energy Ball obliterate his entire team. Not even Lucky Confusion from Clawitzer is able to slow Suki down. Side note, I love that Energy Ball is available in X and Y. I wish it was accessible before the postgame in more games. With the Elite Four defeated, we ride the elevator to challenge Diva Diantha for the title of champion. She mentions meeting us in Lumiose and Coumarine, which reminds me how uninvolved she is in the plot. Maybe this is why she's such a forgettable champion. Anyway, let's get to the battle. The championship begins with a Hawlucha mirror match. Toph uses Swords Dance to buff his attack before laying waste to Diantha's team. Wait, why does this sound so familiar? And I Mega Evolve Charizard. This is the final battle, and I have not used Mega Charizard at all yet. I have set up a Swords Dance to get ready for the rest of her team. Acrobatics takes down Hawlucha, Brick Break destroys Aurorus and Tyrantrum, Acrobatics defeats Goodra and Gourgeist, and Poison Jab knocks out Mega Gardevoir. She didn't stand a chance. And now we've won! Diantha is the champion, and all she needed was a better Hawlucha. It's such a good Pokemon! I can see why Ash used one so effectively in the anime. This challenge was quite a lot of fun. I'd used most of these encounters before in previous runs through Kalos, but I'd never used Gourgeist. Cause, you know, trade evolutions are dumb. But Gourgeist was amazing. I think it's my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon now. My only complaint is the beginning. It's always rough when you don't get a second encounter for a while. But it all worked out pretty well since I got 3 Pokemon in the span of like 5 minutes. I also wish that Diantha had a bit more of a theme for her Pokemon. She just had 5 random Kalos Pokemon and something that can Mega Evolve. Maybe give her a team that somehow relates to her status as a movie star and fashion icon. I also wasn't sure how to handle all the plot. There are a whole lot of rival interactions and Team Claire shows up a lot, but all of those interactions seemed irrelevant and honestly really boring to me. I don't like battling the rival with the same exact team after every single gym badge, so I just skipped it. But if you really want to see some of that stuff, let me know. Maybe I can use that time to read and respond to some comments, or just talk about my life. Overall, Diantha's record was 8 attempts and a single death. Not too shabby. That death could have been avoided by some more careful planning, and some luck with all the numbers and RNG could have reduced the number of attempts. But I think I played this challenge almost as well as possible. With that, we only have one more video in the Masters 8 series. Stay tuned for that next week. In the meantime, be kind and make good decisions. I'll see you in the next video. Later, nerds.